Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Wednesday night Sequoia Enterprise Solution. I see a lot of new faces. Welcome, welcome. And again, Sequoia Enterprise Solution, we are a platform dedicated to help small businesses, whether it's through funding or any other product and services that is on our platform. Well, yeah, welcome Justin back to our platform. Many of you already met him 2 weeks ago. He's the CEO for Nexus Claim, and we have been running this program for the last 8 months, 8 to 9 months already. So finally, we get this down to exactly knowing what this thing is all about, how to move this thing forward. So right now, tonight he's going to come back again to share with us some of the tips. So what we found out is that once you submit the deals to the insurance company, it's not that easy because the insurance company will do whatever it takes to actually slow down the process or not even to pay the claim. So tonight he's here to share with us exactly what we as the agent need to do and also what the client needs to do in order for us to speed up the process. So without further ado, Justin, back to you.
Yep. Hey, everybody. I appreciate you jumping on today and spending some time with us. And thanks, Alan. But just to introduce those for some of the new faces. Yeah, again, my name is Justin, and I'm with Nexus Claim. We are loss consultants, and we have construction companies for roofing companies, GC companies, and a network of attorneys, adjusters that are on in our ecosystem. And we specialize in getting insurance, property insurance claims, whether it's residential or commercial, handled from A to Z, and making sure that the property owners get paid what they're entitled to, and making sure that everything is serviced throughout the process. So, we're not public adjusters, we're not attorneys, we're not just construction companies, but we have a whole ecosystem of teams on our side that help throughout the process. And we've found many solutions that traditional contractors or public adjusters or just attorneys don't have, because of the approach that we take on these insurance claims. So, just to kind of recap for some of the new faces, what we discussed on the last meeting is, the first and best thing for your customers is just scheduling with our company, and filling out through the Sequoia platform to schedule a free property inspection. Just without getting complicated and talking into insurance lingo. The best thing is, everyone that owns a property, whether it is residential or whether it is commercial, can benefit from a free property inspection. What we do is, if you fill out the form on the Sequoia platform, we will dispatch, and we are nationwide, we will dispatch our local crews to the property to perform, like I said, a complimentary, no obligation inspection. And what that looks like is we will send someone out there. We will review the damages for any photos and existing documentation that they have, and then make sure that we take a look at what the current condition is. So we will, a part of our inspections, we'll take a look at the roof. We'll take a look at the siding or exterior of the property, including windows. We will also take a look on the inside if there's any type of water damage that occurred on that property. And we'll put together a complimentary report that explains the current condition of the property. If there are damages, our company is prepared to help review all of the property owner's options so that they can make an educated decision. If there is no damage that we document on the property, we will put together what we call a clean bill of health. And the clean bill of health is, typically, people will spend a couple $1,000s, if not more, on commercial properties for a clean bill of health from a contractor or a licensed representative, because that clean bill of health will tell the property owner, your property was in good condition today. In case they ever go to sell their property, they have a document trail from someone that's licensed and certified that says everything was good as of this day. If they're not selling the property, We see property owners using this clean bill of health to send to their insurance companies to save money on their annual property insurance premiums. We all know the insurance companies are good at raising those rates every single year. So those are two benefits, even if they don't have damage, but most property owners aren't aware, and they're not trained like our teams are to take a look and really do a thorough assessment. And then again, obviously, if and when we do find any types of damage, whether it's roof damage, exterior damage, interior damages, we will create a specialized process for them with multiple different options so that they can figure out what's going to be a best fit and like I said, make that educated decision. People's properties are usually their biggest investments in their entire life. So making sure that everything is properly maintained, reviewed, is always going to be at the top of someone's priority list. But without getting too deep into that, I do got a very basic PowerPoint that was put together that I'm going to share with you guys. And really, the focus of this meeting is to explain how to speed up the process on commission payouts. The insurance claims process can be a very long and tedious process. The insurance companies are notorious and known to delay and underpay and or deny and try to stretch it out as long as they can. And for obvious reasons. Insurance companies are for-profit companies, and ultimately, for every, let's say they have 100,000 claims that they're sitting on in any given market. On those 100,000 claims, let's say that they're saving at least 3,000 or delaying the payment on those 3,000, $3,000, which is a very small amount on an insurance claim. When you take that times 100,000 claims that they're actively working, that's $300 million, right? And if they can hold on to that money just a little bit longer, 3, 6, 9, 12 months, these insurance companies are very good at reinvesting that money and turning a profit before they ever actually end up dispersing those funds. So they are highly incentivized to do that. Now we have a full network and teams and companies that are in place to hold them accountable. We're never going to go after, anything more than what the property owner's entitled, but we absolutely are not going to let them be taken advantage of or collect one penny less than what they are entitled to. And like I said, we do have the resources, from the beginning all the way, if need be, to take it to litigation and try them in the court of law with all of the facts put in front. But without any additional long-winded breaths, I'm just going to go over some of the different processes. Now, one thing people don't know about insurance claims, because they can be very tricky, is that, what are the turnaround times, right? Insurance claims, and from my experience of working thousands and thousands of insurance claims, I mean, I've seen claims close out, as early as 90 days. And then I've seen certain claims, especially on the commercial side, take anywhere from 2 to 3 years until there's a final resolution. So, what this meeting is really geared up and pushed to do is really just show you guys what we can do to speed that process up, service the property owner, take care of them, and what are some of the solutions that we have that other companies do not have that make us different. But again, we'll go ahead and get started. So throughout the insurance process, there's multiple stages of payment releases or compensation that Sequoia that will be paid on throughout the claims process. Of course, depending on that insurance claim. Now, with that being said, the insurance companies, that sometimes they'll make a payment up front, and every time revenue comes in, Sequoia gets paid, which is good for you guys. You don't have to wait until everything is done at the very end. However long it takes for you guys to collect compensation, you guys will be funded throughout the entire life cycle of that claims process. Now, on this first slide here, what we've got are, right about 5 different times that Sequoia can be paid on any one insurance claim. And I'm going to go through those stages and expected timeframes as well before we open it up for a Q&A at the end. But at the very beginning, okay, let's play an example through. Let's say, you know somebody that, has an older roof. Maybe they've looked up at the ceiling in their house or their property and they've noticed, small stains that may be on that ceiling. What some people don't know is if you see a yellowish stain or cracking in the ceiling, typically that is a serious leak, even though it might only be the size of, a nickel or a quarter. And that doesn't seem to be too crazy because water's not gushing down. What I will say is about 90% of the properties do have insulation. And people don't really think about this, but insulation in the attic, if a roof is leaking, the attics are naturally very humid spaces, and insulation acts like a cotton ball. So, if you see a yellow stain in the ceiling, it's actually a little bit worse than what it looks like from the ground level, because for insulation to get soaking wet, and I like to consider it like a cotton ball, it has to seep through 5/8 inch drywall and for you to actually start seeing that yellow stain. So even though it's a small stain, that means it has soaked the insulation and the insulation is dirty. That's why it gets that yellowish tint. Because it was soaked and that insulation is wet, it is literally, soaking through drywall. And for it to do that and create those stains. Another thing too, if you don't remove the water damage from the attic, people don't know. Not only is it very humid, but that's a breeding ground for mold. You typically don't have AC pushing it through in and out for obvious reasons of the attic. So even if it's a small stain, you should definitely have the roof looked at and have someone track that leak and figure out where it's coming from. Because again, it could be a lot worse than what's expected. And also, if that insulation's wet, people will see higher than normal utility bills and electricity bills because what's happening is the insulation's not functioning the way it's supposed to keep the interior of that interior to that property properly insulated. But I want to go over a few things that we can do at the very beginning. So not only will we offer the free complimentary inspection, however, we have a network of contractors throughout the United States, and strategic partners that will do immediate work at the very beginning without any type of loan, without any type of down payment, without any type of deposit. So let's say, for example, you notice a stain on the ceiling and you have the roofer come out and they take a look and they were able to identify that there is obviously a leak happening from the roof into the attic. Now, at that point, and maybe it's an older roof, maybe it's about 10, 15, 20 years old, and it's seen its days and it's been through multiple different storms over the last 15 to 20 years. There's a lot of different reasons that roofs can fail early. But let's say that there is a leak at that property. We have teams that will come out, provide that inspection, and we have the capability to stop the active leak immediately. Meaning we can do a temporary repair, we can cover that section, there's multiple things that we are willing to do, again, at no out of pocket to the property owner or any deposits. Our goal is, and once we do that work, we will invoice the insurance company and we will wait until the insurance company pays however long that process takes. So especially people that are on fixed incomes or, especially we see this all the time with HOAs and communities that they only have set budgets and they can't dip into the reserves unless, they have legitimate reasons. We're able to come in, stop the active leaks immediately. If there is water damage to the interior of the property, we can also remove any wet or water damaged materials such as drywall. We've got machines that we can put for a few days to dry out that area so it doesn't start forming mold on that property and other solutions that we can do at the very beginning. Again, it is not a loan. It is just a simple service agreement that the customer would sign allowing our contractors to include their invoice to the claim and invoice the carrier directly. So that is a benefit that a lot of people and other contractors will not provide. Because a lot of contractors are not willing to spend money on material and labor to do work for someone and wait however long it takes for them to get paid. The reason that we're able to do that is we have strategic funding partners with private equity, funds, and investors that will do a simple underwriting of it, making sure, A, hey, look, yes, they have a good insurance policy or an active insurance policy. B, there are damages and a clear cause that caused those damages, which could be a weather event. We run weather reports, we do all of these things. And C, that the work is completed. So, the underwriting is a very simple underwriting, just making sure that those things are covered. Now, some things that won't get approved on underwriting is if they don't have an active insurance policy. That's self-explanatory. Obviously, we're not able to invoice the insurance company at that point. If there's no qualifying weather event that we're able to find with our weather reports within the last 12 months, sometimes it can make it a little bit more difficult. Or if there's just, let's say that the property owner already received payment for that and didn't pay it on a previous claim. So there are certain triggers that underwriting may deny, us moving forward on the work right away. But again, as long as they have an active insurance policy, a qualifying weather event, which we will, check before we even send someone out there, and the damages are noticed, it's pretty straightforward in regards to getting that funding approved to cover the material and labor costs. Now, if we do work at the beginning of the claim, someone has a leaking roof, and we send someone out, they do an inspection. They notice that there is an active leak. Our team will stop the active leak and take care of any water damage or affected areas on the inside and send that over to our funding. Our funding partners will go ahead and review that, do a simple underwriting, and then they will release the first payment. Sometimes we're able to get those payments even before the insurance makes a decision on whether or not they're going to cover the property. So, that when you incur costs or the contractor incurs costs at the beginning, and we get that funding approved, that is a payable commission um, stage that we can go ahead and issue that over. So again, the claim, we do our inspection, that can take anywhere from 14 to 28 days. So within 30 days, of the work being commenced and the agreements being signed, we're able to send it over. And just as an example, we did work on some properties. Sequoia has sent over, I believe it is 6 commercial properties where they had to pay no down payment, no out of pockets whatsoever. They had active roof leaks, they had water damage on the interior. Our team came in, we did the work, we stopped the leaks, we dried out the interior areas, no loans, no down payments. And we have that batch being submitted to funding for approval tomorrow. So, by tomorrow to Friday, that will be sent over to funding, and we're looking to receive and make a payment to Sequoia as soon as that comes back from underwriting. So, that does speed the claims process up a lot as well. And it does service and take care of the property owner. Instead of them having to go into their pocket and make all of these out of pocket payments that they did not budget for, and having speed to service on these things is a really big benefit to those customers. Now, once, like I said, that work from being commenced, and as Sequoia will see with the Chicago properties, can go anywhere from 14 to 28 days. In rare cases, if underwriting is taking longer, that can exceed, of course. But the average that we're seeing from once the agreements are signed and the work is completed, anywhere from 14 to 28 days, we're able to make that payment from funding. And then I'll just say one more thing. Every insurance policy holder has a requirement in their insurance policy to prevent further damages. So, one big thing that delays these insurance claims 6 months, 9 months, 12 months is when the insurance company has a good argument that the property owner is not doing what they were supposed to. And they do this all the time. They say, hey, you have damage on the property, you didn't do anything about it, the policy says that you have to prevent further damages. So we don't know if we want to pay for all of those damages because it probably wouldn't have been as bad if you took care of the property. So that is a process by doing work at the beginning or the onset of a claim is very crucial because that takes away one of the bullets that the insurance companies will use to try to delay or underpay certain claims. So, getting that work done, servicing the property owner, making some cash on that pretty quickly, it only serves to the benefit of everyone on this call, including the property owners. Now, once a claim is opened, the insurance company will typically within 2 to 3 weeks come out and take a look at the property. Some insurance carriers come out a little bit quicker, some take a little bit longer. But the usually I would say the rule of thumb, and Alan can explain to him when he calls the insurance company, typically they'll be out anywhere from 1 to 3 weeks from the date it was called. Now, from that time, the insurance company will typically have 30 days by law to make a coverage decision. So I put, from the day the claim was opened, typically within 45 days, they will inspect the property within the first few weeks, and then they'll spend, another 2 to 4 weeks reviewing, generating estimates, and making a coverage decision. So within that first 45 days, you should see a decision from the insurance company. Now, that decision can only go one of three ways. Either A, they approve the claim and they're covering the damages in a full amount, which is very far and few between. I would say less than 5% of insurance claims that are filed will actually have a full and fair payment up front. 5%, I'm not a betting man, but that is not a good statistic. Now, the likely scenario is if the insurance company pays in full the amount that they were supposed to from the beginning. Very far and few between. The next option the insurance company has is to make some type of payment but underpay significantly, which is what happened in Alan's case. They made a payment for a couple $1,000s at that point. And they know that it is not easy to use their systems, provide justifications, supporting evidence, and they use that against the policyholder. So a likely scenario is that they will underpay that insurance claim. But within 45 days, any payment that does come in from the insurance company, if it is an underpayment, that is another commission payable process for Sequoia. So when that comes in, again, you guys will be paid on any percentage of revenue that comes in on that claim. So typically that next stage is within 45 days. Now, the third option that an insurance company can make is just deny the claim. And we see this happen all too much. They say that the coverage, oh, you waited too long to report it, and you'll have anywhere from 1 year to 3 years, depending on which state, to file that insurance claim. But if they see it goes, the date of loss was more than 90 days ago, they like to push it into a denial stage, which we have the resources to fight, and we have a 95% success rate, even with denied claims. But that's the third option that the insurance companies can make within those 45 days. Now, if the claim is denied outright, obviously there's no revenue coming in. And what we have to do at that stage is then get it over to the attorneys that we work with, who will send demands to the insurance company, try to negotiate. And if the insurance company is not playing ball or changing their determination, we do have the resources to file suit, provide civil remedy notices, multiple different invoke appraisal. There's multiple different options that the attorneys can take to hold them accountable, even on a full denial. So just because a claim gets denied does not mean we will not get paid. We will get paid, but it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And there's a lot of reasons that I can tell you why the success rate is 95%. It does take a long time, but again, the attorneys make it a painful process for them. They will make it to where it is no longer cost effective for them to go through discovery, depositions, attorney fees, and all of these different things in order to avoid paying a smaller claim amount. And again, for them, if it did go to trial, the reason 95% of our claims will settle without going to any type of trial is because we don't have to prove that the insurance company, that our estimates are 100% accurate. We just have to prove that they were wrong by more than 20%. And that would go to a jury decision. And juries notoriously do not like big insurance companies against a property owner who has a damage. So the risk for the insurance company is too high for them to take that to a decision and spend all that money in trial because not only, and again, we only have to beat them by 20%. And if they denied that claim, $1 is more than 20%. And for us to justify that there's more than $1 worth of damage is a very low bar for us to meet in regards to holding them accountable. So again, within 45 days, the insurance company will make a decision, one of those three options. If there is a payment made, that is a commission payable process for Sequoia. Now, let's say the insurance company within those 45 days does make a payment. In Alan's case, they made a couple $1,000 payment, I think $2,000 to $3,000. Now, in that case, yes, a payment was issued, but then we need to go through what's called the supplemental process with the insurance company. So from that date, anywhere from 30 to 60 days on average, we are going to provide supporting evidence. We're going to provide all types of documentation and reports and estimates and everything that we need to prove to them why the damages are not 3,000, but instead a larger amount. So again, 30 to 60 days is not a very quick process. However, if there is a partial underpayment, we are able to go ahead and secure more funds 100% of the time. There has not been one claim over the last 6 years that came with open coverage that we were not able to increase it at least some dollar amount from when we started. So, that supplemental process, once we do get a supplement approved, that is another commission payable process for Sequoia on any increases that do come in there. So again, just to kind of recap, we've got a funding process to take care of the property owner, stop the leaks at the beginning. That can happen within anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks from once the work is completed. Within 45 days of the claim being opened, if the carrier makes any payments, that is a commissionable process. And then anywhere from 30 to 60 days after a payment was made and our supplements were sent in, we're able to get another release. And again, doing work at the beginning or the onset will always be a benefit to you guys and all of that. So if and when the insurance company does, without denying the claim, let's say they open coverage, if you use one of our contractors to do the work at the property, you guys, obviously, instead of a percentage of the customer being charged, they're collecting the insurance proceeds and doing the work that's there. For example, roof replacements, interior work, drywall, painting, flooring, bathrooms, kitchens. We have contractors that can facilitate all of that work, windows, exterior. Anytime that one of our construction companies is doing the work and using the insurance proceeds, that is another commission payable process or stage for Sequoia. So it's always in your guys' best benefit to have one of the in-network contractors actually be the contractor to take care of the work that we do get approved from the insurance company. Now, again, if the payment is made on that supplemental process after the 45 and then 30 to 60 days, that is when it will be released. If the claim is denied, then we will obviously have to wait until the insurance company settlement. But whether it's at the beginning or the end, any type of construction work does benefit you guys directly and takes care of the property owner. Now let's get into the denied claims a little bit. This is where it can be a little bit of a tedious and painful process. And the reason being, our claims are going to On a straight denied claim, meaning the insurance company says, I'm not paying anything, it can take anywhere from 6 to 12 months from the denial date, not from the date that the claim was open, but from the denial date to achieve that settlement. Like I said, even though it's a 95% success rate, the reason it takes 6 to 12 months is because there is a process and deadlines that the insurance company is very good. They wait to the last minute to turn their book report in every single time. So, it is a longer process, but obviously, the property owner has nothing to lose but everything to gain. Just so that you guys are aware, the attorneys work on a contingency, no recovery, no fee. So at no point is the customer having to come out of pocket to pay retainer fees, to pay legal fees, nor if the insurance company, if they are unsuccessful, which they will be in collecting a payment, there's no out of pocket that the customer will ever have to pay. So, we directly have skin in the game to make sure and our incentives are aligned to recover not just the payment, but as much money as possible for the property owner. So, the reason it can take 6 to 12 months from the denial is because many times we will have to hire and we will pay the costs for engineers to come in, explain, why the insurance company is wrong. They'll write a 100-page report saying, we believe the insurance company is wrong because this was the date, these are the damages, and here's why. So, we call that causation reports. They will draft a causation report to help overturn the insurance company's decision. Not only do we have to hire engineers, many times when the insurance companies get demands, they want to send someone to come re-inspect the property and make sure they didn't miss anything. And then again, we will try to negotiate throughout that process, but inevitably, if the carrier does not change their decision, we will have to file a lawsuit. And, just the discovery alone can take 90 days. After discovery, there's depositions that can take, anywhere from 30 to 60 days to be scheduled and set. And then after depositions, typically, mediation will be called. So there is a process and, there are timelines that the insurance company is able to navigate in and delay. So again, it's not a quick process, but at the end of the day, the way I explain it to the property owners is, some people, especially on residentials, we're recovering anywhere once it goes through the attorney process. On residential, even for a 2,200 square foot property or a shingle roof, the average ticket size is anywhere from 60 to 80,000. And, for tile roofs or larger properties, we are well over the six-figure mark on that. So the way we tell the property owners, yes, it is going to take some time. The insurance companies will delay, and we will have to hold them accountable through the court system and what's right. But some people will spend a whole year working 40 hours a week to make 40, 50, 60,000 in a year, or on some larger properties, 100, 120, 140,000 a year. So it is worth the wait. You are entitled to it. You don't have to change your life at that point, but again, we will continue to work and hold the carrier accountable throughout that process. Now, obviously, when a settlement does come from the company, that is another commission payable to Sequoia. Obviously, when that final settlement comes in, the property owner has the money that's collected. You guys, again, whether we do the construction work or we're just collecting a percentage, Sequoia will be paid at that stage. So just to kind of bring it all back in, if there's nothing that you took away from this meeting, the one thing I say is, try to get work done as early as possible. Again, it's a benefit to the property owner. They don't have to come out of pocket. If it takes 12 months to get paid for the work that was done, that's our problem, not your problem. But by doing the work at the beginning is always going to speed up the claims process because it takes away a lot of the bullets that the insurance companies use. So talk to your property owners if we do identify damages during our free inspection. talk to them about letting us do the work to, stop the active leaks, prevent further damages, stay in line with the policy requirements. And again, we're able to pay Sequoia on any funding that is advanced that comes in to cover those material and labor costs. Again, the insurance company will take about 45 days to make that first coverage decision, and then another, 30 to 60 days after that for us to negotiate a higher number and provide supporting evidence. And then again, the long route, in the unfortunate case, the insurance company does not do the right thing and they deny it. It does not mean the claim is over and there's nothing we can do. We will recover money. It's not a matter of if. In this case, it's just a matter of when.
Yep.
So make sure that the expectations are set properly with your clients. That we're in this for the long haul. We will get your roof replaced. We will get your property restored to its pre-loss or new condition. But be patient throughout that time. And if there's anything that your customers need throughout that wait, like us to come out and do more work to prevent further damages. And in many cases, we'll even replace the roof if funding approves before the insurance settlement, even on denied claims. So, as long as it passes our underwriting, if the property has an active leak and they know it's going to be 6 to 12 months and they don't want to spend tens of thousands out of pocket to pay for that roof, we do have solutions for them to take care of it, give them a new roof. And again, let us wait, the 12 months because we know it's going to come eventually and we're willing to do that. And again, it's not based on a loan. We don't need personal information. We don't need credit checks. Doesn't matter if they have a 400 credit score. Nothing is based on that. We don't look at it whatsoever. So it is an option with no down payment, no deposit that we provide, as long as, again, they have an active insurance policy. We have a qualifying weather event that will let you know at the very beginning, and the damages are documented. But that's it for the different stages. I know, sometimes I can be a little long-winded. I know that when we're talking about insurance and processes, it is very boring stuff, but I am happy to answer any specific questions that you guys have, general or specific, or if anyone's dealing with certain problems or damaged properties right now. I'm very knowledgeable on, not just the claim side, but the construction side as well. I'm happy to open the floor up for a Q&A.
Uh,
I have a question.
Absolutely.
Um, is the ideal situation a customer that hasn't had a loss, or is it better someone that has a loss?
So both, we always say, I don't wish damage on anyone's property. That's the first and foremost. So if it is very good if there's no damage for us to document it for many reasons, not just because we'll give them a clean bill of health to save them some money on their property insurance, not just because if they sell the property, they have something on file that helps the sale, showing things are good, but also if there is, we live in a country where storms happen all the time. And I'm sure you guys are following the weather right now. The insurance process can be a problem. So if you have documented that things are good on this day, and who knows, 2, 3 months from now, a storm happens, we have very clear evidence and undisputable evidence to really speed up the insurance process and eliminate 99% of their arguments if we have a clear document trail. So for all of our customers, we offer at least once a year annual inspections just to give them that bill of health every year that they keep on file. And I cannot tell you how many times we've inspected properties 1 year ago, 6 months ago, 9 months ago, and everything was in good shape. The storm came and we were able to come back out and document the differences from before and after and how much that has helped and sped up the process for property owners. So to answer your question, a non-damaged property is always a great start. It's good and it's safe and the smart thing to do for your property to have someone take a look at it, just like when you guys go to the doctor. Everyone goes for an annual checkup just to make sure things are functioning properly. You know, the property is their biggest investment, so we should do the same on that side as well. And then again, for the damaged properties, it's a very unfortunate situation for them. But because of all the solutions that we have and the network that we use, we can make what can be a very difficult process and an expensive process, very, very easy, financially, and put them in. And I always say this, after dealing with thousands of customers, we have never, some people get frustrated. Sometimes the wait is a long time, but we have never, ever put a customer in a worse position from when we met them, ever. And we do take pride in that. And again, it's not an easy process. There can be some ups and downs, but at the end of the day, there's nothing that in our process set up where we're collecting money without, we put up or shut up, for lack of better words. If we don't make money, you don't make money, we don't make money. So there's never going to be a surprise invoice where they got nothing out of it and then we, collected on that. So, you know, there's no risk to the property owner at that stage. There's only options that we can lay out in front of them so that they can, review those options and make an educated decision. So again, to answer your question, it's always good to know if there's no damage, let's get it documented, take care of them. But in the event that we do identify damages, it's going to be a lot better process for them knowing what they have available instead of just dipping into their pocket and, putting band-aids on bullet holes.
So it's a good pitch if you go to a property owner and say, "Have you had your um, property inspected?" And we offer this service at no
Mhm.
charge to you. And if
Mhm.
we find something, we can open up a claim, and it'll cost you. It'll cost you 25%. Is that
Mhm.
right?
Correct. 25% of what we cover. And exactly, if we find damages, we'll go over those options. Now, if they choose to get the work done with us, then that fee's wiped away. And we do it for the work that we get approved, where they don't have to come out of pocket. So, for them, they can choose either A, I want to take the money and hire my own people and I'll just pay your 25%, or B, I don't want to pay out of my bank account, but I'll let you guys do the work for the money the insurance pays in, and I get a new roof, or I get, brand new windows, or I get this done without having to budget or come out of pocket anything throughout that stage. So yes, that is a very strong pitch. And again, if they don't have damages, it's good to have a document trail for many purposes. A, they can send it to their insurance company and save money on their premium. That's a benefit. It costs them nothing and they can save money. B, if they do sell the home, those are reports they're going to have to pay for anyways out of pocket. And C, in the event something does happen, a storm does come by, they have a clear documented trail of, before and after that cannot be disputed, when a storm comes. The carrier can't say, oh, well, that happened 5 years ago. It didn't happen from this storm. No, we checked it 6 months ago and everything was fine. Surprise, surprise, after the storm, here's the new damages. It's a very, very helpful for us. We call it the storm watch list. And, and if we do have you on our storm watch list, in the event a storm does come, those customers get first priority because after a storm, it is very difficult to find contractors. Everyone is busy. You're good luck trying to get people on the phone. Good luck trying to get people to travel. We put everyone on our storm watch list at the very top priority if and when a storm does happen, because it's an easier, in for us. So that always goes to the very top percent, top of our priority list, which again helps them out even more in a storm, having to start to vet contractors and go through that process. They can do it before, and it's always better to be proactive instead of reactive.
As a previous business owner and owner of commercial buildings, I think this is a no-brainer, and
Mhm.
I think that the preventive measures are far outweigh anything else because it gives you peace of mind. I'm
Exactly.
not taking over the meeting here. I'm just asking some questions. I think that that's a very good way of pitching this to business owners.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Of
Quick
course. Of
question.
course. Great questions.
I
I
got a
have a,
question.
Yeah, Mike, go ahead.
Yes, Mike.
So I have somebody who's actually right now in the process of some damage that I think the pipes froze and so they've already gotten paid and they're in the middle of this already. So is that something you could help with, and how does that process work?
Absolutely. So what I will say is if they've already got paid, I like to say they already got underpaid. So, the good news for us and for them is we will supplement that and only charge on the increase. So we're not going to dip into the money that they already received. But we will make a percentage on any increase. So they have no downside, all upside, for us to do it. And like similar to Alan's case, he started with 3,000, he ended up with 26,000 plus that 3,000, so close to 30,000. So, it's again nothing to lose for that. In many cases, not only can we supplement for 5, 10, 15 times what the insurance paid, but we can also do a full assessment of everything else. There are a lot of things that property owners don't know. We've got over 150 claims that have come in across a few different states from the freezes that have happened recently. And people don't know if it's a
Yep.
business, there's parts of the insurance policy that cover loss of use. Maybe there was equipment that was damaged. Maybe there was inventory that was damaged. Maybe they have more things, like they couldn't open their shop for a few days because they had the downtime. There's all different parts of the policy that we'll evaluate, our attorneys will take a look at, and we will make sure that every cent that they're entitled to is sent over and negotiated, again, at no risk. And what's the worst that can happen? They keep the money that they have, and nothing increases, which again, we're very good at increasing. But there's no risk or downside to them. So yes, we absolutely can help on that, and we would love to.
So let me jump on right here, Mike. Whatever you're asking is exactly happening to me. So if you don't mind, let me show you what
Yes.
what I'm getting, right? So anybody see my screen right here?
mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so as you know, last year, August, my own house got a water damage. The water heater got busted, so the whole basement got flooded. So immediately I claimed the insurance company. That is happening in August. So as you can see, in September 2nd, 2025, they pay me $3,647. They issue a check just right there and then. Okay. So once I receive that check, I call, no, actually, when I filed the claim with the insurance company, I also called Justin at the same time. I say, Justin, what am I going to do? So the first thing Justin told me to do is that go ahead and take that check. So I did. I deposited that check. So after that is done, then I hand everything over to Justin, the pictures, the reports, whatever that might be, and I hand everything over to him. Now, then from September, now remember we have September, October, November. What happened? November, December. We have the holiday seasons, right? So I got my second paycheck, January 19th, last month, January 19th, 2026, $26,607. This is a real check. It's in my account already. So you see, it's from State Farm, Fire and Casualty. So once I hand over everything to Justin, his whole team will just take care of everything. He walked me through every single step, exactly what do I need to do, where do I need to take the pictures, how do I document things. Basically, I don't even need to talk to anybody. I send it to them. Now, if it weren't the holiday season, I think I should have gotten this check much earlier. But just because of holiday season, I got it in November. Hey, I take this money anytime, any day, and I bet you any one of our client will thank you so much and willing to go through this process together with us if we can provide that type of money. So when I started it so many months ago with Justin, the first time that I met up with him, and I asked him, normally in situation like this, what are we expecting? So basically, he's saying that, well, in cases like this, we will file the claim as much as we can, but in reality, what we are getting back is approximately 60 to 65% of what they proposed to the insurance company. So if correct me if I'm wrong, Justin, for this particular case right here, we wrote a report to State Farm. We claimed $50,000 total, right? But we all know they're not
Correct.
going to get $50,000. So guess what? Now the 26,000 plus the $3,600 that I got back, I got actually over $32,000. So that is approximately what 60, 62, 63% of the $50,000 that he claimed. So right on the target. So I'm very happy about this, and that's why I'm pushing this out very, very heavily. It's just because there's so many homeowner out there that have no idea how to make claims like this. And we have client in the last 2 days. I just pick up the phone. I just call a few of my friends and say, "Hey, I launched this new program. Do you know anybody like this?" And bing, that came in and saying that, yeah, I'm actually going through something like this. My house got was fire damaged, and the insurance company's not paying me, so on and so forth. So again, to just want to let you know, so definitely whatever your client is going through, it doesn't hurt. Tell them to submit it in. Let us take a look at the insurance policy. Let Justin and his attorney team to review the whole process. And for us, honestly, for you and I as the consultant, we really don't need to know all the detail. And I don't want you to know all the detail. All we wanted to do to bring him onto the platform today to just show everybody that, hey, what is under the engine? It's just like you are driving a car right now. When something happened to a car, most likely, I believe not many of us know how to fix a car. You bring it to the mechanic. So Justin is the mechanic right here. We are driving this car. We know there are a lot of property out there have damaged. We don't need to fix it. Send it to Justin, and he and his team will take care of it. So how do you do that, right? So each one of us, I know there's a lot of people is not our consultant yet. So again, talk to the people who invited you into this meeting, right? So when you become our consultant, you will have your own website like this. You go to solution, you go to business service. Let me show you. The property restorations right here. All you have to do just to click on it and click the apply button. And once it doesn't have much things to fill out, right? Once you fill this thing out, our system is going to send you a link to upload the full insurance policy, asking you to upload any damage pictures, so on and so forth. So once that is done, let me show you. It will go into something called a Titan file. So as you can see, since September 1st, September 1st. Okay, wait, hold on. Okay, since September 1st of this month, we have total 24 cases that submitted already. So what is today? Today is 25th, averaging one case a day in February. This is crazy, averaging one case a day. So now let's, for example, like this guy right here, right? So once you create a channel, you will be there. Justin will be there. His team will be there. So for example, this guy right here, once he submitted in, this is the client. Now he start to submitting documentation. Now the conversation between Justin and our team and the client, and he submit more documentation, so on and so forth. So again, everything is happening like oil machine. So how do you get these clients? Probably you already know. There are multiple snowstorm came through the area for the last 2 or 3 months. Make the phone call. Call if I were you, this is what I did. I call all the property manager, and I think there are a few property manager in our call tonight. I don't know who you are, but I know there are a few of you. I call property managers, call title companies. I call real estate agents. I let them know that, hey, I have this new program. Do you know anybody? So again, this is how we got a lot of cases that come into our pipeline. So just a few cents for me to share.
I have a question.
Yes, Dan.
Yes.
Justin, how far back can you go once you submit your claim? I mean, can you only go back 2, 3 years, or how does that work?
Yeah, so each state has different statute of limitations. And the statute of limitations will fall anywhere from usually 1 to 3 years.
Okay.
Some states are a little bit shorter, like 1 year, and other states are 2 to 3 years. It just depends on that area. But yeah, usually anywhere from 1 to 3 years. So
You
even
know
if it
what New
happened a
Jersey is
while
by
ago,
any chance?
New Jersey is 2 years.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome.
And we have a lot of qualifying weather events throughout New Jersey within the last 2 years. So we've paid, tens of thousands of dollars for meteorologist reports to come and map out every storm in every area across the country. And we also have other systems that we pay, that we can go ahead. So if we have just a property address, I can do a 2 year search and find and figure out if there's qualifying event within those last 2 years, whether the property owner remembers if it happened or not. We have the ability to search that and take care of that, within a matter of minutes. So just all we need is just the property address, and our team will search the last 2 years in New Jersey. And I will say we have a 85% success rate throughout the entire state of New Jersey of finding a qualifying event, which is everything that we need to be successful. So New Jersey and New York, Connecticut, there have been a lot of qualifying events within the last 2 years.
Awesome. Thank you.
Justin, I have a question.
Yes, Mike.
I think you had mentioned last time, I think people's concern would be how this is going to affect their insurance. Is there something that we can tell them that does not affect their insurance if they put these claims in? Or are they going to worry
Yes. So
about
that
their
is a great
costs?
question and a big sticking point for a lot of property owners. They are very quick to pay their, thousands of dollars every year for their insurance premium, and they are so scared that by filing an insurance claim that their rates are going to increase, or they're going to be dropped. And what people don't know, because the insurance companies are very good at, making it seem like that, is to very simply answer your question. For the dates of loss and qualifying events that we search, the insurance company cannot raise your rates or penalize you. It is actually against the law. And I'll break it down for you a little bit. There's two types of claims that can be filed. There's one that they would consider an at fault claim, and then there's claims that are considered what they call an act of God claim. And you guys can Google this as well. Can the insurance company penalize you for an act of God claim? All the claims that we file are based on act of God, which is a storm event, wind, hail, floods, storms, and those situations. So the insurance companies cannot, again, legally raise your rates or drop you for filing an act of God claim. So the big misunderstanding that if I file a claim, my rates are going to go up is completely false. And again, you don't even have to trust us. Obviously, we've got a vested interest in the claim. We always tell property owners, call your insurance broker that you know, that you trust, and ask them point blank, can an act of God claim raise your rates or penalize you? And they will answer it honestly, and the answer is no, they will not raise your rates. Now, what I will say, we have our loopholes. Insurance companies, of course, they're very good at finding their own loopholes as well. What we have seen in the past, and based on my experience, is even though they cannot raise your rates individually if you file an act of God claim, and an at fault claim is something like you turn the bathtub on and you flooded the house. That they can raise your rates, they can drop you. That's considered negligence. Now, for an act of God claim, they cannot. But what we have seen in the past is if a certain area has had a lot of insurance claims filed, let's say, and I'll use Florida as an example. Florida gets hit with a hurricane, right? That's an act of God claim. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people have filed insurance claims after a hurricane, right? Now, they cannot penalize the customers or raise their rates or drop them for that hurricane. But what we've seen them do, and they're, like I said, they have their loopholes, is they can not raise your, like if you file the claim, they can't penalize you individually, but they can say, hey, this is a high risk area. A lot of claims have had to be paid out. And because it is a high risk area, we're going to raise the whole zip code's rates a little bit. But that has nothing to do with whether you file a claim or you don't file a claim. Your rates will go up if you're in that area. So what we always like to tell people is you're better off if you are already seeing premium increases of 20, 15, 20, 30% annually. That means that a lot of people have been filing claims and getting paid in your zip code, and you're either going to be on the paying side of the claim or the getting paid side of the claim. So, it's always good if you do see your rates going up by more than 15 to 20% annually. That means that you probably have a qualifying weather event and you can make money on that claim, and you're paying for it anyways, whether you file a claim or not. Again, but they cannot penalize you individually.
Okay. Okay, guys. I think we are on top of the hour. So again, thank you so much, Justin. This is definitely very, very exciting for us, for Sequoia. So for those of us are new to the Sequoia platform, this is the value that we bring to the community. By joining our platform, become our affiliates, you will get access to a lot of informations like this and product and services like this. Not only that you can benefit yourself, like myself, I told my wife that, hey, we already have $30,000 salary increase this year. Not only that you can benefit yourself, but you can definitely benefit your community. So again, go out there, talk to the person that you need to talk to, submit the deals. And my suggestion to everybody is that go through the process one time, and you know how powerful this platform is. Whether you are going through the funding side of it, or the property restoration with Justin, or any other product or services that we have on our platform. Go through it one time and you can see the value of it. Okay. So until then, well, thank you so much, Justin, and thank you,
Absolutely.
everybody. And we will see you next Wednesday night.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody. You have a wonderful day.
Good night,
Night.
everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.